Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. So we're going to get started here. So for question one, I'm going to start with Jennifer. Please describe briefly the organization you work for and your position.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Langille. I am the Human Resource Director at the Westin Nova Scotian, which is a hotel in downtown Halifax. If you're not familiar, we are just right across from Pier 21. I have been there for about 4 years. Almost 5, I guess. But the Westin is a rather large property. We have about 250 employees. We are a unionized property here in the city, so we do have a union that we work with. All of our staff is unionized except for our front desk agents and our management team. I think that's it for now.
All right, we can move on to Jodi.
Hi. I was about to say good morning. Oh, thank you. I was about to say good morning. So anyway, good afternoon. I'm Jodi Posavad, and I'm a solopreneur. And my company is Grassroots HR Consulting. And I am in my 19th year of being a consultant, 10 years here in Nova Scotia, prior to that in Ontario. And prior to consulting corporately, I worked for Canadian Red Cross Society Ontario. My background and current specialty is in nonprofit organizations. Majority of my client load is nonprofit. I help small to medium-sized organizations with their people, and kind of right from the onset, right through their employment journey. That's different for every employee, every employer, and unfortunately, sometimes it means helping them off board as well. But anyway, that happens in the reality of the working world. So I was going to say I'm a generalist. I do all things HR, and yeah, I love what I do. And hopefully that will come across today in my presentation or this discussion. I'll hand it over. Great.
Hello, everybody. I am Stephanie Brown. I own Sky's the Limit Events. I am an entrepreneur. I actually own multiple businesses, and my business is a facet of many forms of event planning, and it has recently evolved into focusing on event planning, corporate planning, and destination management planning. And I've been in business for 15 years. I also own Atlantic Wedding Showcase, which is Atlantic Canada's largest and longest running wedding show, a wedding trade show that is run every year in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm here representing as an entrepreneur who has become my own HR department over the years, evolving and bringing on employees. And yeah, so we work with companies that are looking to plan destination events here in Nova Scotia. We also work with couples that are planning their weddings, and we host a wedding show yearly that brings multiple people from around the province into Nova Scotia to be a part of it. Also supporting the local economy. That's it.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Dave Power. I'm the Regional General Manager for Westmont Hospitality, looking after Hilton's and Marriott's hotels within New Brunswick and Halifax. So 4 Points in the Hampton and Hilton in New Brunswick, St. John. Basically, my job is just to oversee guests and staff satisfaction, ensuring the stay is smooth and staff are happy.
All right. Were you
Am I
finished?
supposed to tell how I got there, or that comes later?
Comes later.
It comes later, yeah. Okay. All right, moving on. So, how has your career evolved? Are you doing what you plan to do? And we can start with Dave this time.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Well, I've been with Westmont for 10 years now, but with Marriott and with hotels, I'm not gonna date myself, but it's over 20 years, 25 years, probably closer to 27 if I'm being truly honest. Okay, it's 30. Stop hounding me, okay? Anyway, but mostly operations driven. I did a lot of traveling through Whistler, Vancouver, and on the West Coast, working solely with Marriott hotels. Operations, front office, housekeeping, food and beverage. If it's in a hotel, it's got to be done. I've done it.
So my career path has actually evolved significantly and not in a linear way whatsoever. When I started Sky's the Limit events, we started out very small. It was meant to be what I refer to as a side hustle when I had a corporate job for a very long time. However, that expanded over the years into my full-on passion, what I want to be doing. And then as time went on, I never really intended on expanding into doing anything but weddings because that's where my heart really lied. However, we kept on getting the call to become more involved in the corporate world. So I said, if the business is there, why not take advantage? When you're self-employed, you're like, yes. So we rolled into that. And then more recently, I saw a need in Nova Scotia for destination management companies because there are so many people that are out of province, out of country, coming into Halifax as a destination for corporate events and for retreats and all of those things. So I have so many contacts in the industry and so much knowledge in how to plan a successful event. I thought, why not jump at the opportunity to do something like that? So that's where we're headed now. It hasn't been a linear path because I don't think that doing what I did do in my career existed a long time ago. I know there were always event planners, but when it comes into like doing weddings as one facet of your business, doing corporate and doing destination management, I don't think that was ever really a thing. But now we're seeing that more and more. So I kind of created my own path, and this is where we are now. And yeah, so that's how we ended up here and how we just continue to evolve and take advantage of all the opportunities we see coming our way. Because there's no shortage of events here, that's for sure.
That is true. I know I kind of segued in my first answer a little bit into the second, but I'm going to take a step back and say I am the poster child for co-op education placement works. I started my HR career way back when, like Dave, like hate to say it, 30 so years ago. And as a co-op student, and I was lucky enough, I got hired on where I was a co-op student and just kept moving up, moving to different roles, etc., trying out different things, whether that was filling in for a leave or a new job opened up, etc., etc. Right up until the point before I left corporate work, the world, that I was the director of HR for Ontario's own Red Cross, and unionized, non-unionized, traditional programs, home healthcare, nursing, etc. So the exposure was amazing, and I just love the variety, etc. And the second question to this one is, are you doing what you planned you would ever do, kind of thing? And no, I never thought I'd ever become a consultant. I used to look at them when they came into our place and think, oh God, I'd hate to have that job. So never say never. But I just fell into it. I had decided I wanted to step back. I was traveling a lot all around Ontario, and I was bargaining a lot, et cetera, et cetera. And my kids were at a stage where I was kind of like, you know what, maybe it's just time to take a little bit of a breather, decide what I really want to do, if this is where I want to be, et cetera, et cetera. And then this opportunity came to me as somebody said, hey, I need some HR help. Would you help me? And so within 2 hours, I had to come up with the company name, figure out what I'm going to get paid. Cell phone. I just had my personal cell phone, all those fun things. So it's been an evolution for me. And basically, that client was my longest standing client, though. I had them for about 15 years. So you never know where life's going to take you.
For myself, I had no intention of doing anything HR in my beginning years. I started out very much with a finance background. I worked for a nonprofit for 14 years doing payroll and doing finance. And in that company, there wasn't an HR department. So a lot of things HR kind of floated through my office a lot of the time. And I kind of developed a bit of a bug and a love for all things HR. So I went back to school. I did my HR management. And then when it came time for them to want to implement HR, they weren't really interested in having an entire role in HR. So they said, you should probably go find something else to do because you should do that instead of this. And I said, okay. So that's how I ended up in the HR world. I kind of was very nicely pushed out the door. And it's been an amazing journey. I have still kept some of my payroll background. My team, where I'm at the Westin right now, we run payroll for the hotel. It's not done through the finance team. So I kind of oversee a lot of that myself. And we just finished a massive payroll implementation. So I was very pivotal in that role throughout our entire company, which is Newcastle Hotels and Resorts. So they manage our property, and we have hotels in the US and in Canada. So I was able to kind of keep my love for payroll as well as my love for HR throughout my career. And I want to say mine has been like 20 plus years as well.
All right, moving on to the next question. How has artificial intelligence changed the way HR/management is done? And in your view, how will it continue to shape the industry in the future? And we can start with Jodi this time.
All right, this is a good one because it's, number one trend in HR right now is how the AI is affecting our workforce, how we as HR management do work. Everybody does work. I see the positives of it in the fact that it's making life more efficient, easier, faster. However, there's always two sides to every coin kind of thing. And is that it's not the end all or the only source. It has to be used in conjunction with everything else. It's, can be a great starting point or something that you can use to help draft something, or you put your thoughts into it and tweak it, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a tool. It's not the tool in my mind. So you very much need to make sure that you're fact checking. I have been in a couple of situations of late where people have presented things to me and said, just want to let you know that you're incorrect, you're wrong on this. And oh, okay, tell me more. Where's your source? Where'd you find this? Well, Chat GPT told me that what you're doing is illegal, etc. So, it's not always correct. Just want to premise that. And being in the HR line of work, all of us up here, I also want to say with any job, there's a human element to it, and AI will not replace the human aspect of work. And when you're in HR, to me, the most important aspect of the work. So that's just my little snippet. Thanks.
So coming at this from a completely different perspective of being somebody who's self-employed, and like I said, I'm somebody who is my own HR department, not a job I really wanted to take on, but when you're a small business and you find yourself expanding and needing to hire on staff and train staff and manage staff in that way and onboard staff, it becomes far less intimidating when you have a tool like AI to be able to lean on. So I think it's changed the whole of the business community who are small businesses like myself that have hired on students or hired on employees, whether it be full-time or part-time, to have a source to go to, although always fact check, to go to be able to run things by and to be able to create like all of the paperwork that needs to happen when you're hiring somebody on contracts and all of that. So I think that it's helped the HR portion of my business become far more approachable. That being said, I feel that that AI is never going to completely replace the human element. We need human contact. We are humans. We need to see empathy. We need to see leaders. We need all of that in the workplace. That's why you also see so many people still working in their jobs. So I think it's going to shape the future in that it's going to be a tool. AI will be a tool for people to use specifically in HR when they're not as familiar with it, but it's never going to replace that human element of like the on the job training and all of those things.
Yeah, I think you're going to hear the same answer throughout all four of us. Honestly, it comes down to what I love about it is that it's eliminated a lot of garbage that we'd have to deal with day to day. Recruitment, analyzing guest feedback, pulling trends. Like if I run my AI data into a guest experience platform, it pulls out everything that is hindering the operation and pulls us back from pushing forward and allows me to strictly focus on that. So I love that. And for managers as well, like there's so much garbage you deal with every single day. That is, it's never going to go away, but to a degree, it's being less and less work. Human touch is going to be key all the time, right? That's gonna happen no matter what. But like I said, like if you look at it from a hotel standpoint, anybody I've hired have gone through an AI driven analytic that tells me if you're the right fit for the position that I'm hiring for. At the same time, I still dig into the ones that have been pushed out because it didn't recognize something that was in there. And some of our best employees are the ones that we've pulled through. So I do think there's some more work and some more analytics, but it is evolving with us. It's starting to realize what I look for. It's picking up on those trends. So I do like that as well. But from a hotel standpoint, it's everything. Like if you look at a rate one day and it's $200 and you look at it again an hour later and it's at 207, then 215, it's seeing that it's not somebody, it's a system behind it going, hey, there's demand here all of a sudden. So now it's pushing rates in a direction because it recognizes that there might be something happening in the city over this time. So from our standpoint, it's fantastic, but you still need to kind of filter through some of the garbage that it spits at you to make sure that you're pulling out the right information.
Yeah, just like Dave said, from a hotel standpoint, it saves me a lot of time on certain things. With our new payroll system implementation, we are using a bit of an AI platform to help with some very complicated union calculations that I used to have to manually do. And now something that used to take me 3 days to do takes me 2 hours. And I can take that extra time that I now have and put that focus on the human side of my job and the interaction and the connection with my staff rather than being stuck in my office trying to figure out how to make sure I don't make a mistake and cross, a wrong number or letter. So it's been valuable for us for that, for sure.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the next. So, what do you like about your work? What do you dislike about your work? And what do you find the most challenging? And this time we'll start with Stephanie.
So I would say the thing I love most about my work is building a team, leading people, watching people grow, being able to assist younger people that are coming up in the events industry under me. I would say the thing that I dislike most is managing people. It's always fantastic to have the help, but having those hard human conversations sometimes with not just employees, but also with clients, because when you sign a contract with a client, you're entering into a relationship that sometimes you may disagree on things. Somebody may be overstepping their boundaries. At some point, a difficult conversation does have to happen. So that is what I dislike. And I also find the most challenging. Although I always look at those situations as an opportunity to grow and learn. And just also dealing with, as being an entrepreneur, the stress that you deal with yearly from year to year, and which can feel like burnout sometimes, and trying to strike that balance often. But it's all worth it in the end, as far as I'm concerned.
Dave?
What I love about people, obviously you work in this industry, you have no choice but to love people. I met this lady almost 19 years ago working in the industry when I moved back from Whistler. She was in sales, I believe, at the time. At your service supervisor. She was a phone answer. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So love the people. My industry allowed me to travel everywhere. I could name 20 different places over the past year I've been, just because of the hospitality industry and what it's done for me to grow. What I find most challenging about the industry is the same answer, people. Um, it you need to really understand the mindset of who you're talking to in front of you and cater your personality and try to respond on the same level they are. If they're up, you're probably sometimes got to scale it back, but sometimes you got to be up with them. And if you're back, sometimes you got to scale it back as well. So um, I guess same answer for both. Love people, and same time I go home shaking my head at people someday. So.
For me, I think one of the things that I love about my job is, again, people, but also the ability to shape and change culture, and in an environment where you have a lot of control over what happens. I love that part of my job because I can make somebody's day better. I also really like to watch people grow and help them find out where they want to go in their career, and see what I can do to help and to kind of mentor and encourage people. I like the unpredictableness of my day. I don't know from one day to the next what's going to come through my door. But on the flip side of that, that's also something that can be very challenging sometimes, because again, I could have my day planned out and all of a sudden something happens and my entire day is now focused on something completely different and I got nothing done that I wanted to get done. So it has its goods and it has its bads for sure.
Okay, I see a theme coming on here, our theme emerging again in this question too. But what do you like most about your work? So I'm going to spin it a little bit. As I said earlier, I'm an HR generalist, so I do almost all elements of HR, and have experience in it, etc. So I like the variety. I became a generalist because of that. I didn't specialize in one area, and so that is definitely keeps life interesting. Like Jennifer, I may have a set idea of what my day may look like. I don't really plan very much these, because you just never know what email or phone call I'm going to get, and my day, my week totally shifts and changes. And again, because I'm a consultant, I can have weeks where I am in or dealing with 4 clients, or I can have up to 11 clients in one week. So constantly changing as well into, you know, I have to think, where am I? And who am I talking to? Where am I, etc. What, policies, procedures do they follow? What's the workplace culture there, and shift towards that. So that's a challenge as well, but I love that challenge. And what do I dislike? Yeah, and unfortunately, sometimes you're not delivering the most positive news and having to deal with that. But again, like Stephanie said, I think in the end, it turns around and usually becomes an opportunity for them, mostly. And then I'll be honest, I love being a part of change management, helping employees, helping employers. And there's sometimes, as a consultant, it's very frustrating when your clients don't take what you believe is a very clear path forward and the right path. But it's a journey for them as well. And you put your pros and cons down, and what you think is the best course of action, and you have to leave it up to them. So that can be a challenge. All right.
All right. So, what do you see as the key management skills needed in organizations today? And we'll start with Jennifer this time.
Well, I think the most effective managers for sure are managers who have a bit of empathy, and they can see both sides of situations, and they know that there is a job to be done, but also they have empathy for their staff, they have empathy for the people that they're dealing with. And they're not just leading with the data that they need, but they're actually leading with a bit of humanity too. Yeah, I think that's a big one for sure.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
That's was my number one too. But communication would
Yeah.
also be there, and I'm sure all of us will be saying communication. It's the key. It's the key to anything. Think about, like, how you communicate with everybody, your family, your friends, etc. Communication is number one. Learning to be very like clear, concise, etc. Also, agility. I change, like it's all around us. So change management and the ability to lead people through change and having some flexibility and adding that element, I think, of being human on top, putting those all together. It's a great skill set.
Again, I think you're going to hear the same tone throughout, but I really think that strong leadership is less about control and more about creating clarity and trust with your team. So being flexible, being adaptable, showing accountability, because even though somebody is leading you is your HR department, we're not always right. Um, Exhibiting clear communication directly in person and through email and when you're on the job, and holding space for people, whether it be a new employee or somebody that's been around for a long time, realizing people's level of skill and realizing people's strengths and weaknesses and helping guide them in that direction. I think it makes for really strong leadership.
A lot of the same boring answers. Um, when when I hire, whether you're from Nova Scotia, from Canada, not from Canada, um, you come to my work. I asked everybody the same question. I would ask Allison if I interviewed. Probably did ask you, honestly. It's one question I always ask is, what's it mean when I say to you, what's it mean to be a Maritimer from Nova Scotia, right? And I get the same answer like 99% of the time. And they always come back with the same thing. It's warm, hospitable, and caring. They say that every time, and that's ingrained in our DNA. Like I said, whether you're from here, new to here, you come, you feel it, you understand it, and it represents who we are. So I think if we have that ingrained in us as a human, sky's the limit for us. Like we can do whatever we want. Uh, be comfortable with being uncomfortable because you're going to have a lot of hard conversations um, that suck. I mean, some of my best success stories are the people that I've unfortunately fired. One of them's like a lead fire chief somewhere now, came back like 5 years later and thanked me for holding him accountable. Those are terrible conversations I have, and I feel sick to my stomach when I have them. So be a Maritimer, be warm, be hospitable, and care for your people is all I can say. Hopefully, I'm not lying about that, Allison.
All right, so many students do not know what career to pursue. What advice do you have for a young person trying to decide on their career? And we'll start with Jodi this time.
Well, it's interesting. I'm starting with this question because I was fortunate to start in the world of HR, and I'm still in it and still love it, which I think is rare for the most part. I know a number of my colleagues as well as friends, etc., and those other individuals in my professional networks, etc. Some of them have taken a journey like a roadmap, etc., and that's okay too. Like, however I think what I suggest is talk to people, learn what people do and why and how they got into what they're doing. People love to share, and then be open. Be open to accept, try new things, do different things, participating in panels like this, or seeing panels like this, etc. I also think universities have great career centers and people who help with aptitude testing and figuring out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, etc. And I also think I've come a long way. Young I have two young adults at home or across the country, and a journey isn't a straight path forth. You learn something in every opportunity you have. Try it. If you don't like it, that's okay. As long as you're moving forward and trying something else, etc., and you take away something and a learning from it. So that's my advice.
So my biggest piece of advice for this is like the path is not linear whatsoever. Take that pressure off of yourself. You do not have to have everything figured out as soon as you're ready to hit the road with a career. Um, if you don't have it all figured out when you're leaving your programs, don't chase a specific job title. Try a whole bunch of things. A lot of super, super successful people that I know have had their hands in many careers over the years before they've landed on what exactly it is they wanted to do. I myself have not had a linear path. I've worked in corporate, really fantastic jobs that you would think don't align with me whatsoever. And I worked as I said, I worked my business very part-time for a long time before I realized it was truly what I wanted to be. But I'm also very okay with that because I'm grateful for the experiences that I had when I was working in a corporate environment. It really primed me to dive into the HR part a little bit, working in an office, which I didn't know I was going to need in the future. So I'm grateful for every single experience. So what I'm just trying to say to you all is that don't take it so seriously. Try everything you want to try, and you'll land exactly where you're supposed to be.
So true. I take nothing seriously, as you can see from my picture. Yeah. Yeah. Um, Follow what excites you. For me, I mean, I don't know. Everyone has all these issues, and I know we talk about ADHD and mental health. Use whatever you have as your superpower and follow it. I just remove barriers. If you feel pigeonholed in one area and you can't get to where you want to go, carve your own path to where it needs to be. Open your own doors. If you got to travel, enjoy it, right? The next 5, 10 years, you're going to have some jobs that you're going to feel like you should be doing the person above you's job. 100%. When I hire for my weakness, and the people that are working with me might be reporting to me. They're smarter than me at their jobs. My director of sales is fantastic. I couldn't do her job in a heartbeat. Our front office manager, same idea, best person ever. So just be comfortable with being uncomfortable, stay the course, be patient, and open your own doors. If you have to travel. That's all I'd recommend. Do what you have to do to get to where you want to be. And at some point, you're going to feel you've arrived. You're not. You might have to take a step back to move forward. Do it, because end of the day, you have one life, so you might as well just have fun with it.
I think when you're young, the idea of I have to pick a job that I'm going to follow is an enormous pressure on people. And it really shouldn't be that way. It really should be take your time. No, no, take your time. Um, it's experiment, see what you like, see what gives you energy, see what drains you, because you want to pick something in your career that you love to get up and go and do every day. You don't want to find a career that every day you're like, oh, I have to go back there again today. I mean, and there's always going to be aspects of your job that you're not going to enjoy, but that shouldn't be an everyday thing. You want to find something that really gets you excited to go and be there. And explore, experiment, see what you like, see what you want to do. As everyone has said, carve a path. It's not linear. Try new things. Um, and and don't be afraid to take risks and take chances, because a lot of times that's how you end up in something that you're going to absolutely love.
All right, for the next one, we'll start with Stephanie. And the question is, what advice do you have for how university students can prepare themselves for success in today's business world?
Oh, wow. This is a big one because I feel like the jump from being in university to going into the career world is vastly different. All of a sudden, you're not at school just doing your day to day. And I know a lot of people hold careers while they're in school, but it's just you have to go and work and be super duper responsible for your job and everyone around you as well. But a piece of advice I could offer is to, you know, develop really strong communication skills. That is going to get you really far. Develop really strong relationship skills, interpersonal skills with those around you. I honestly think I've gotten to where I am because of the relationships that I've built with people at every single job. I never burned bridges. I could go back to my corporate job tomorrow if I wanted to because of the relationships I created while I've been there. And I think I've been so successful in my career because I rely on everybody, all of my contacts that I built relationships with, whether it be people from venues or people, vendors that I work with regularly. That is what has helped me so much, and I can't say that more than enough. Also, being reliable and learning how to take constructive criticism and feedback in your career, especially early on. You don't know everything. We still don't know everything, even though we're this advanced in our career. Just use everything as a learning experience as you go.
Yeah, again, a lot of the same answers. I mean, networking is key. I'm on committees here with this one here, and her business has developed over the past few years, probably because of that.
So
My work, same idea. All the networking I've done has been related to that as well. Yeah, just be open-minded. Yeah, have fun while you're doing it. At the end of the day, that's key. I think is you wherever you go, you got to really enjoy the people you work with and enjoy it. So that's all I can say.
And my advice would be stay open, be flexible, be curious, build your skills, learn how to communicate, just like everyone has said, learn how to problem solve, because that is huge. Work on your communication, be willing to take constructive criticism when it comes your way. Be part of a team, work on your teamwork skills, be adaptable to change, because inevitably in life, things are never going to be this all the time. It's going to change. That's my advice for sure.
Well, everybody said it all, so I don't really need to say anything. I think it's already a really strong, long list, so I totally agree with them. Just to go on to Dave's point about and his theme kind of in all of his answers, which is like have fun too. Like don't take it all so serious. And that's one thing, I look back on and you can still be very determined and have a goal and do all these things, but it's when you kind of just kind of take a breath and have fun too. And work, you spend majority of your time at work. Try and get to know the people you work with, join the social group, or if there's a soccer team, or do whatever. Anyway, that's kind of be open to new things. The other element I'll just add is keep, I think Stephanie may have said it as well, networking, etc. But join a professional association or continue on with, if there's something here at school with, new professionals as well, etc. And tap into those resources. There's lots of seminars, there's networking, etc., etc. You don't know it all. So just be open.
Okay. And for the last one here, we'll start with Dave. So, what's one piece of advice you wish someone had given you about your career?
It's a good one. That they wish they had given me.
Yeah, what's one piece of advice you wish someone had given you about your own career?
I was given a lot of advice throughout my day. That's a tough one.
Loaded question.
It is actually, yeah. I guess I never felt I was ready for the next job. And one of my managers actually it was Jeff Ransom at the Harborfront, said, "Why not you?" Right? So just take a chance, bet on yourself if you have to. Speak clearly to your managers. Let them know clearly what you want to do. Some of my best employees are the ones that are hunting for my job, and I want them to take it. So I just tell them, come get it. Right? That's all I can say to them. So be clear to your manager as to what you want to do and your path and where you want to do, because those people will help you open doors. Throughout my time, my tenure, I didn't ask that question. And when I started asking it, that's when I started growing, and that's when doors opened up. For me anyway, that worked.
He took the words right out of my mouth. I literally have written down on this, don't wait to feel ready. Um, most opportunities show up when you're not ready. And if you wait until you're 100% ready, you'll likely miss out on something really special. I know if I had waited until I felt ready to move into the roles that I'm in now, I probably would not be sitting here right now. So don't be afraid to take risks. Don't wait until all of the bricks are in line perfectly. Go for it and do it.
What's that thing on the Lululemon bag? Like, do one thing that challenges yourself or scares yourself, kind of thing.
Just do it.
Just do it. I say that all the time to my kids. Just do it, and they always say, "What are you, a Nike commercial?" And I say, "Yeah, I am actually. Just do it." So mine was exactly the same. Mine was don't limit yourself. Because exactly the same as Jennifer and David said, like some of my best opportunities I wouldn't have taken if it wasn't for somebody else saying, why wouldn't you? They see something in you and they're willing to invest in you. So why would you not take that? And if you're not successful, you're not successful. Like, right? Exactly. You learn from it, you move on. So yeah, just do it. I totally agree.
So I'm going to flip the script on that. These are all great points, but there's something that I wanted to point out because something that I wish would have been handed down to me when I started down this path of entrepreneurship is that we live in this uh, society of hustle culture, and we're taught to be successful as an entrepreneur, especially in the event planning world, and especially when it comes to the wedding industry, that you need to work yourself into burnout on a constant basis. And you need to bend over backwards for absolutely everyone and everything that comes your way. You need to take advantage of every single opportunity and be everybody's yes woman. So my piece of advice that I wish that somebody would have told me is that having boundaries and having really strong boundaries is not a weakness. Deciding what is right for you. And I'm not saying don't go for anything. Go for the things that scare you, yes. Go for the things that spark joy. Go for the things that make you feel invigorated. But don't do the things that are going to be to your detriment, or don't do things that are going to cross your boundaries on a regular basis. So that's my piece of advice.
Add one other little
Yeah.
element too, and just so I think we will all agree with this is, and I think somebody did mention this, but it's a really key point, is that if you don't know something, that's okay. Ask. Nobody knows 100%. And I think, you get put in a job or you're doing something and you think you should know, or you ought to know how to do that, etc. And just ask for clarity and say, this is how I think. It's how you do it to your approach. This is how I think I should be approaching this or doing that. Is that correct? I just want to clarify. And so you gain a little bit of momentum. But basically, you're not an island. I say that all the time to people. You're not an island. We're all here to help you. So tap into your resources around you.
All
And-
right.
Oh, sorry.
sorry, go
Just to
ahead.
build on that, I just have one more thing to say about that. I'm only just over 15 years in my career, and I'm constantly aligning with people that have been in the industries that I work in for 20, 30 plus years. So I'm still constantly taking advice. I realized that I'm not an island and that I'm constantly seeking knowledge from people who have been in the industry a lot longer than me. And I think the longer I am in my career and the older I get, the more I really soak up all of that knowledge. So it honestly just really never stops. You're just constantly learning in your careers.
All right. And do any of you have any final comments to share?
I think that was actually, I just jumped the gun and that was sort of my last words.
All right, then I guess we can do some questions. Does anybody have any questions? You raise your hand.